All right, we are out here at Fowler Park. We have the Developer XE that we did a arm test with last night, or an arming test with last night outside our office. As you saw, the motors kicked on. The props didn't kick up because I stopped it beforehand, but we should have a duplicate result, but now in the production version of the iVue RoboControl app in World's iVue. So anyone watching this can follow along with a Developer ideally, or even another RoboCopter based drone, or RoboCopter based quadcopter. Let me go ahead, open up the iVue RoboControl app. I'll get the radio plugged in, and then I will go over and plug in that Developer XE and we'll get it ready for flight. All right. Got flashing red lights on the radio. If you didn't watch last night's video, this radio looks a little bit different. These are actually, or were standard with a few Developer mini kits that we sold, no longer available, just as we don't really have all the greatest documentation or support material available. If you want to build your own, it's really got to be on you. We'll work on, or continue to work towards, more Lego style assembly guides, so we can sell kits that aren't just pre-built units from us. But for the time being, you either have to build it yourself completely DIY with what material we have available, or you could buy a pre-built unit from us. No DIY kits for the time being. All right, I think we should have green. Yep. Let me go ahead and connect. We only have connection to 5 satellites. We have what should be essentially a fully charged battery. Let's go ahead and wait for that satellite count to increase to ideally 10 or more, and really, hopefully we can get to 13 without having to wait here too long. The satellite count by itself doesn't really tell you that you're good to go or not. You also need to see a HDOP, horizontal drift. I don't know what the OP stands for, but basically how much your quadcopter, or in our case, your Developer, is going to drift away from its position it's supposed to be holding with its GPS. All right, still 10 satellites. We're like right on the cusp of where we would be fine to take off. I'm going to disconnect and just see what our HDOP number or value is. Come and get your drone. All right, we're at 12 satellites under a 1, so that means Developer should be able to hold its position within 0.9 meters, or just less than a meter. So let's close out a QGroundControl, yes, reconnect in the iVue RC app. As you can see, we also see 12 satellites here now. Let's go ahead and put ourselves in the position just to do actually arm and fly. Should take off to 10 feet. And let's see, drone not connected. Drone has failed to launch while armed to guided mode. Let's see, we're still connected via the radio. I'm going to refresh the tab. We might have a problem after closing out of QGroundControl, just some sort of bug, but now we have 15 satellites, the voltage is continually updating. So let's go ahead and exactly as we did. Oh, I just selected arm. I did not mean to do that. But let's arm and fly. So no, we are still encountering an issue. So I don't know if there was an error that wasn't resolved in the push to production. Now let me go ahead and see if I force reload this page. Maybe I am still just using an old version of the iVue RC app. So going to try again. We're not getting the satellite information to show up. So I'm going to disconnect, reconnect. Let's try again. Not getting any information this time. Going to force reload the page again. Going to clear out all my permissions for devices connected through the web browser. And you too, as easy as this, can be flying a developer. All right, so we're getting battery information, but not satellite information. We're clearly still getting the position of developer on, no, we're not. All right, let's just go over to the dev version or our preview version. I'm gonna allow location, open up the iVue RoboControl app, hit connect, and yeah, we have connection to 17 satellites, getting the battery information as we should. We are getting the correct position. Now, if I go to fly drone, let me just open up the terminal so I can follow along. Arm and fly, this should work. Drone successfully armed, but drone not connected. Drone has failed to arm. All right, so let's try drone armed. And let's try fly. Drone not connected. All right, I just refreshed again. Selected connect. All right, and I'm going to try again. We're saying, yeah, we're getting some sort of bug. That's very helpful, you know, to say some sort of bug. All right, I am going to verify we can still fly in QGroundControl. Make sure there's no hardware problems that we're now encountering since last night. Come and get your drone, come and get your drone, come and get your drone now. All right. We have QGroundControl open, waiting for the map to load. There we go. Let's see, just GCS failsafe, that message should go away. All right, I'm just going to try and take off here in QGroundControl. All right, just as you would expect. Now let me land. And just as you would expect. Nice and smooth, nice and quiet. Daddy long legs, developer XE. All right. Well, let's close out of QGroundControl and let's see if we are just experiencing like kind of one-off bug. All right, refresh the development version or preview version of the iVue RoboControl app or World's iVue, and then opened up the iVue RoboControl app. Now we are getting satellite information, but not battery information. We are definitely experiencing some bugs with the UI, but seemingly the UI is also causing some bugs with actual functionality as well. Let's see if we're getting the correct position. Nope, we're showing Denmark Drone Park. Man. Let me try the incognito window that I definitely only use for drone flying. All right. All right, going back to the production version of World's iVue, let's see if we fare any better now. So now no satellite information, but we're getting battery information. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh boy, oh man, oh boy, oh man, oh boy. I don't know why this would make a difference, but we're going to try in a browser I already had open. Nope. All right. I'm going to try unplugging this USB, plugging it back in, as mundane and as non-helpful as it probably will be. Again, getting satellite information, but no battery information. Still showing the wrong location on the map. Trying it in the dev environment, dev version. We're getting all the information. Voltage doesn't seem to be updating as it should. Well, let's go ahead and we'll reboot the developer. Said drone rebooting. I didn't hear it from here. There's some sort of construction going on with whatever that stank is. Smells like straight. Leave it to your imagination. Imagination. All right, a good old-fashioned reboot. Come and get your drone. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, we're at Fowler Park, ladies and gentlemen. Not just here in the physical world, but in the virtual world that is World's iVue. And the iVue RoboControl app is displaying the satellite count, voltage information, in both percentage as well as a hard voltage number. So let's go ahead, open up the terminal. Let's see if we can drone armed, and let's see if we could fly. Oh, that is going up really fast. All right, I just hit land. So there's definitely a bug. But Developer XE is flying via the iVue RC app. Brun, you caught that all the way up, right? And there you might have seen Developer XE slow down quite a bit. We have a parameter set to slow the landing rate once it gets to a certain altitude. I forget exactly what that altitude is off the top of my head, but beside a very quick and abrupt takeoff that we weren't really expecting, very nice, smooth, stable flight with our Developer XE. So now really, come and get your drone. Come and get your drone now. Come and get your drone, come and get your drone, come and get your drone now. All right, silliness aside, I think that's all the testing that we're going to do with this Developer XE. I would like to see now if we can just using QGroundControl, fly this developer without it continuously rotating. And the way we're going to see if we could bypass this issue or troubleshoot this issue is take this radio that we know is working in this developer XE and put it in this developer, which we've tried replacing the ESCs. We've flashed the firmware on the Pixhawk, the radios. We basically have rebuilt that developer completely, and it is still rotating. And maybe there is a radio problem like with the hardware, because again, we flashed the firmware on it, reset all the parameters. So long story short, I guess I'll just get to it. Open up this top cover, and we'll keep the GPS the same, as much as it would just be nicer to switch the top cover. I think what I'll do is just unplug it from the Pixhawk here first, and we'll swap out the whole antenna as well. You can unplug the radio itself, but we have them heat shrinked, and it can kind of be a bear to work around that heat shrink without cutting it. My lack of dexterity in this cold weather is impeccable. What a wicked game to play. Make me feel this way. A wicked thing to do. Oh my goodness. I am on the struggle bus, ladies and gentlemen. Too special for the special bus. This is a tight fit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look at that. 3 hours later. And now popping up the top cover on this base model developer. Again, just going to unplug the radio. Set this radio down here. And rinse, wash, repeat. All right. My Trump McConaughey impression. Donald McConaughey. All right. Radio going into TLM1 port. And then just feeding the brass connector, the SMA connector, up through the top cover. And the first piece to go on is this ribbed washer for his and her pleasure. And then the split nut. And then the hex nut. These nuts. Got him! All right. Let's see how much we're gonna embarrass ourselves more than I already do just by being me. Come and get your drone. All right, the satellite connectivity issue should not be nearly as big of a problem now. We have the RTK GPS, so the satellite lock-on should be a lot quicker. All right, we are reconnected, have connection to exactly 0 satellites as indicated via the iVue RC app. I'm going to reboot though, and let's see if that will update the information. We definitely heard that reboot, so this connection's working well. Select a disconnect, reconnecting here. Still not getting the satellite count. Going to disconnect, refresh the web page. Still not getting satellite count, but we're going to be using QGroundControl anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter for the time being. It matters for us having working, easy to use, reliable software, but for the purpose of this testing, like I mentioned, we're just going to be using QGroundControl as we had this continuous rotation problem across really any ground control software, at least all that we've tried, which QGroundControl and iVue RC being the two. And actually, before I take off, of course, need to put on props and going to the planned flight screen and just going to make sure there's no mission already saved on board this develop air. We don't want it taking off to the drone park or anywhere else. All right. We have 14 satellites. Should have quite a few more than 14 with that top cover, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and put on these props and see if we do have a radio problem causing this continuous rotation, or there's still more troubleshooting to be done otherwise. A wicked thing to say, make me feel this way. Now I don't wanna fall in love with you. Sniffles. All right. All right, all right. Look at that, 23 satellites, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I really hope that this radio fixed the rotational problem, but in 3, 2, 1, let's see. Wow, it's a radio issue all along. Oh my goodness. We have 2 stably flying large Develop Air demo and test models now, along with the Develop Air Mini that Gerardo has been holding on to. Wow, ain't she pretty, ladies and gentlemen? That's the most beautiful drone I have ever seen take flight. All right, I just told it to land. Wow, look at that. So I'll need to check the wiring of that other radio. That could be causing the problem. Otherwise, it's probably just a hardware failure, which not ideal because, you know, if the Chinese can't make these components, what, us Americans are gonna make these components? Yes, just not right now. All right, well, I think that is all she wrote for our flight testing here today. You'll catch us in the next video. Don't know exactly what that is going to entail, but yeah, you'll find out when you see it. So, peace.